Welcome to another episode of Low Gear Revisited, proudly sponsored by Jenner's Worldwide Freight. To start this episode, we're going to take a look at the old Euclid TC12. The Euclid TC12 is a unique machine. This is the story of how one was recovered from the bottom of a lake in the South Island. We did this story about 7 years ago now, so to begin, let's have a look at a restored model actually working. And listen to the sound of the two 671 jimmies that the operator would have had to have put up with during his shift. And I'm sure a lot of guys will just love this sound, and of course if you had to put up with it day in, day out, you probably got a bit sick of it. However, that's just a matter of opinion. According to my information, Clyde Engineering imported 8 machines and they were delivered to these companies: Feaston McJorrow, the Ministry of Works, W.G. Evans, Evans Road Construction, L.D. Collis, and Horowhenua Earthworks. Seems only 2 have survived. One's in Cambridge and the other one is the one we'll be talking about that belonged to L.D. Collis. Just before we talk to Ray Shearing, let's go back to the early 1960s and have a look at some old photos of one of L.D. Collis's machines being delivered on Tom Gilroy's white truck. That's Tom Gilroy's son up in the driver's seat, and next is the photo of the machine being walked to a pickup point because the whole load was too heavy to cross a bridge. Now let's have a look at the Feaston McJorrow machine. This is actually a model of the Feaston McJorrow machine built by renowned Gisborne modeller Robin McKnight. His eye for detail is absolutely amazing, and considering he makes his models from the ground up using a variety of materials available to him like tin, cotton, cord, simple everyday things, as he does with all his models. So congratulations Robin on an absolutely outstanding model. Now let's join Ray Shearing and let's talk about the one he dug up out of the lake.
Ray, this is an amazing story. We're basically standing in the engine bay, I suppose, of one engine where Ray is and another one where I am.
Yeah, where I is.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And this is a Euclid?
Yeah, Euclid CT12.
Yeah. So perhaps tell us the story about this. This is amazing, folks. You've got to listen to this.
Yeah, well, this is one off 9 that's come to New Zealand. It belonged to Dick Collis, as it was his first new one, and Dick had he had 4 of them. He had two new and 2 second-hand ones. This one, unfortunately, was flooded in an open cast coal mine. It for 22 years underwater, 52 feet deep. How that mine come to be flooded? The guy had 2 pumps to keep it dry. And if one pump malfunctioned, he's supposed to have the other one fixed.
Oh, righto.
But at this stage he had, the second one wasn't fixed, and the next one broke down, and he was in trouble.
Yes.
So they tried to salvage it at a time where they could only get one motor to go, and she would just turn around in circles. She wouldn't drive out with one motor. So she ended up being left there for sake of 22 years, as I said. So, Dick, we were collecting old dozers and different things. He said, "You ever thought about getting the one out of the hole, do I?" And I said, "Yeah, well, we thought about it." So we went ahead and got permission from the council and the owner. And yeah, we were 6 weeks, or 6 to 7 weeks,
Draining the lake.
running the pond, yeah.
The pond.
Which was 52 feet deep where the tractor was sitting. And with the 2 ponds, there was about 8 acres of water
Wow.
we covered, yeah.
And so when you found it, it just sort of jammed into the mud.
Well, the whole hill had come over it, like she'd been sitting underwater for I don't know how many years, but I think it must have been 84, 83 when we had the big flood down here. The whole hill on the north side, because this was right under the whole hill would come over and covered her up. And yeah, like you couldn't tell where it was, you know. But it was the old last owner, last driver. He said, well, it was under, like it was under the road, on the second road down, and he was dead right. It was right under where he said.
Right.
But along one part of it, like we've been going a fortnight, and we've only got 2 feet of water off in a fortnight. So we had to shut down. We shut down for a week till we got more pumps in. So yeah. But halfway through the job, the oldest boy, he decided to get married halfway through the job. So yeah, we had to get another jug of the man in the pumps that night. But never mind, we managed to keep it going. And yeah.
So this bulldozer actually is quite unique in that it has 2 engines, but it also sort of swivels sort of in the centre, if you like.
Yeah, well, like there's two motors on each side, Detroit motors on each side, 671s, driving through an Allison transmission, 3-speed Allison transmission at each side. You either change one transmission up or one into reverse to turn it,
Yep.
or you slacken one motor off and speed up the other motor. Very, very versatile machine when they were going, you know, like if there was a guy sitting on the side beside you, travelling along, like you could fire him off the side by like giving a quick turn.
Sure.
And you would notice, anyone knowing anything about track gear, a lot of these bolts in the rails of the tracks and through the grousers are spread. Now that's just for someone just jamming a one into reverse, one forward, and actually spreading the track chain.
Oh, okay.
So that's how much force they put on it.
Sure. So like I was saying, unless both engines are going, you can't actually go straight.
No,
Oh.
that's dead right.
Yeah.
You've got to have both motors going.
Wow.
Otherwise one will just spin you around in circles.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the condition of it for sitting under the water and in the mud for, you know,
Well, it was pretty good, Bill, really. Like, there was no rust on it whatsoever. The rust has only appeared from it the moment we got it out to the ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. The motor on the left-hand side drives the blade. The motor on the right-hand side drives the rippers at the back.
And they're no small thing.
Yeah.
So in its day, this was the bee's knees.
Well, it was, like, in its days, you know, it done a good job.
1959 or 1960? 1959 or 1960, they're building things like this. This is just phenomenal yet again.
Yeah. Apparently they were quite drafty from the point of view of the driver, because your radiators were at the back, Bill.
Oh, okay.
And you had the housing over top of the radiator, which the drafter got a wee bit of draft onto the driver, you know.
So again, they don't think about the driver.
That's right. That's dead right. They didn't think about the driver. That's why it could shift to the other end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An amazing feat getting this thing out of the mud, 52 feet under the water, drain the lake, get this out, and is the all back to normal? Where this
Actually, you wouldn't know where we've been now, Bill.
No.
No, you wouldn't. You can see where actually the mud slide had come over it with the tide marks on the blade. You see the marks on the blade? Not the bird shit, just down below that. Yeah.
Well, Ray, it's been a great experience. This story about this bulldozer is just absolutely amazing, and I'm sure you'll find it interesting. But if you do know there's a few bits and pieces that for one of these, let Ray know, or get hold of me. What are you looking for in particular?
Yeah, bottom rollers, Bill.
Bottom rollers.
Yeah, we've got bottom rollers on here with no flanges.
Oh, okay. So if you know somebody who's got some of those, we'd love to hear from you. And Ray, thank you very, very much.
Been a pleasure, Bill.
Absolute pleasure meeting you and seeing all those old trucks again, and particularly that old East Bedford. I mean,
Yeah.
that just brought back the
Good on you.
brought back the day.
Next time you're down, we'll have a drive round.
Good idea.
Eh?
Excellent.
Good
yes.
on you.
Jenner's Worldwide Freight. They provide simplified, custom-built solutions to your supply chain needs. Their 37 years of experience and their team of experts find the answers to your freight challenges. They work hard to understand what matters most to you and your clients. Check them out at www.jenners.co.nz. That's www.jenners.co.nz. Hi everyone, Bill Hallhepper here. On Monday the 15th of October, the Northern Classic Commercials Club will start their long lap from Wellington to New Plymouth. That evening, the classic trucks will be parked up at Central Hill near New Plymouth. On the days following, they'll go to Taramanui, Cambridge, Rotorua and on to Whakatane. They'll all be parked up at Awatiri on Saturday the 20th, when Barry Caulfield will be auctioning off some of his amazing truck collections. To find out the full details of this, just go to my webpage at www.lowgear.co.nz and I'll see you there. Come with Linda and me as we travel the North and South Islands of this beautiful country, looking at some of the vehicles and machines you've seen throughout our Talking Trucks and Low Gear TV shows. This is a 2-week vintage and classic adventure. So if you or someone you know would like the ultimate trip down memory lane, give me a call on 09 536 5327 or email me at billhohepper@extra.co.nz, and for registration and more information just go to our webpage at www.lowgear.co.nz. So we look forward to hearing from you very soon. I went to a place not far from Methven in the Canterbury Plains and spoke to Syd Hogg, who spent a lifetime operating draglines and still does today under contract to keep the silt from building up in the canals that feed power stations in the area. So let's join Syd and see how he does it. This is basically what the winch drums are attached to. I see the one in the back there's got a
Lagging.
the lagging, is that what they call it? Yep. And this front one's built for a shovel with a bigger
face shovel. Drive the double winches in the front for crowding a face shovel.
So looking at this piece here is on my outside, and that other side will be where you are.
Yes.
Yeah. So when we're watching the machines work, you see these.
That is the slew clutch.
Yeah. And
This cog on the inside
Yep.
drives the machine left and right.
All right.
That one way, that one's the other way. They turn opposite, so it gives you a two-way slew. All the drum section just free wheel on the shaft until you engage your clutch, and then becomes a solid unit.
So and it's like I was saying, if you let everything go, it just free falls, hits the bottom, and the wires keep going.
Yes.
So all these are what you have to control to stop that from happening.
Yes.
No, it's just amazing. Yeah.
And it's just 3-inch or 4-inch brake band on the outside there. That's your on the centre there. That's your hoist brake goes on that band there.
I just see these. Is this hard to replace? This clutch?
No, not really.
Pads? No. It's not like a railway wheel where you've got to put this on. You're actually coming from the other side. You're coming from inside.
Yeah, no, it slides out. Just undo the
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Pull the two pins and
Yep.
it just slides out.
Ah,
Yeah,
simple.
simple.
Yep.
And with Rust and Bucyrus, all clutches, bands, fit everything.
Oh,
There's no changes. In an NCK, your slew bands are different from your hoist bands, from your drag bands to, yes.
so Bucyrus thought interchangeable.
Yeah.
It's got to work. Yeah.
Bucyrus Aries, the American section of it, copied it. They used to be all different bands, and so they went to the English design with one band fits all.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, there you go, folks. A little inside look into the guts of the old Dragline. Amazing. Can I come up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
tap dancing
Tap dancing.
all day. See, with the dragline, everything is free fall.
Oh, okay. It's like an old free spool reel that I use for fishing.
Yeah.
And if I don't feather it a wee bit, it
The
just goes in.
breaks.
Yeah.
You bird's nest on the wood straps. Yeah. Yeah, you've either got to have a hand on clutch or foot on the brake.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically the same as flying a helicopter.
So you got both hands going.
You drive a dragline, you fly a helicopter.
Yeah.
It's basically the same procedure.
So you've got two on the feet, and you're
Yeah,
either
they're-
this one or this one.
That one is your drag drum.
Yep.
It pulls the rope in.
Yep.
As you come in, you hold that brake, lift the hoist one, so
Yep.
your bucket doesn't run out and tip out.
Yep.
When you get up to where you want to be, you let it go and put your foot on the brake and go round, and then you feather this one out to let your bucket tip. We shall attempt to make a mistake.
Okay.
My neighbour, when I was a young boy, had two nice daughters. They used to travel from Invercargill out to a little place called Taihaka, between Riverton and Colic Bay, and he was a dragline contractor. Rather than leave me with his daughters, he'd say, "Come with me." An old jail bar V8 truck, and there'd be a heap of 4-gallon tins in the back full of diesel. My job was to carry them during the day out across the swamp where he was on mats, keep the machine with diesel. So from there he let me play with it at smoko and lunchtime, but I wasn't allowed to put anything in the bucket. I could go through all the movements. He was 13, 14 years of age.
Well, that's a good place to start, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just amazing how Syd can redistribute that load just using the bucket just to drag a bit of sand and level it all out on the back of the truck. Look at that. Now that takes a lot of skill. Back into the stream it goes, and what he's doing is just taking the silt out of these canals that belong to the power board. A bit like the canals up at Twizel, these feed power stations. Up like a big submarine. Look at that. Yeehaw. Truck full, I'd say. That'd be the last one. Syd was saying there's about 20 tonne on that truck. I'll get Syd to put this load on the ground. That way we can have a good look at the bucket. Well, here it is. This is the business end of the drag line. This is the bucket. Syd's just chucked it in the water. He's brought up the silt and we're going to put it on the truck. But all these chains and everything all have a purpose to make this dig. We'll put it up there and then it'll just slew down and this will fall out. But I just thought I'd come and see this bucket. Just have a good look around it. The front drum is the drum that pulls the drag line in, and the back drum is the one that lifts it. And the one up the top there is lifting the boom.
Yeah, they're
boom controls, yeah. So looking at these drums, how hard is that to get a bird's nest out of? You have to sort of pull it till it...
No, dig your bucket in and walk the machine away until you pull all the rope off the drum. Oh. If it doesn't go that tight that it cuts itself.
Oh, okay. I just see there's a bit of squashed wire.
Yeah, that's just on the first wrap.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So just note this, folks. But some people, you're saying, can look at a rope and know when it's going to break.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Good on you. But you can't, as I was saying, you look at a hydraulic hose, there's no way you're going to know when it's going to go pop.
When you lay your boom down, one of the worst wear points is where it comes over the tip of the boom on the hoist rope.
Yep.
When you lay your boom down every third day to grease it, you look at that rope, and if it's got any more than 6 cracked strands in a metre, time to throw it away.
Oh, okay. So you can't just sort of pull that, sort of damaged bit away and just add a bit like they did with the, those carry-alls. They had a bit of extra rope, and when they get to the point where they...
No, because you only use a certain amount on your drums here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, throw it away,
and just start fresh, yeah. Where do you buy the rope?
Oh, Cooks's, or
okay.
They've changed their name now, but Cooks's I buy.
So it's still available?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, my rope's still available.
Wow.
Same rope as they use on ski tows and
all that sort of thing.
Lifts in buildings and...
Yeah.
Yeah. They're still making wire rope.
There's three little, it says engage, disengage, on, off, swing.
That's engine clutch at the bottom.
Yep.
See on the engine clutch?
Yep.
And then your swing brake.
Yep.
That's to stop your machine blowing around. Especially when you're crane working and you want to stop and hold it in one position.
Yep.
And then your other levers for your swing to propel.
So you're using that to actually do the cast?
No, your swing is for your slew lever, so it turns this way and that way.
Right.
When you come into propel, it changes the clutches on the inside and drives the tracks in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well.
And the other little levers up there are the ones that actually steer the tracks.
Oh, the little jobs.
The little ones in the front there.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
They put either left or right at a gear and put a brake on, and that makes her slew round.
I see there's a little oil can tucked with a bit of rag in there. What do you do with that?
Some of the pedal levers don't have grease nipples on them, so we
give them a bit of oil.
Just a bit of oil.
Yeah. Is this like a crawler tractor? Got grease nipples everywhere?
There's 82 grease nipples on this machine.
There's a bloke in Antarctica that's got a collection of grease guns. He's got about 200 grease guns.
Yeah.
And all for different things. But
yeah.
Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 just sitting there. Wow.
That greases the propel shafts and that underneath.
Yeah. And I see there's a bit of grease stuck on that.
On the turntable.
Yep.
Yeah. It's pumped down from up the top.
Right.
But the big drive teeth that drives around are on the inside of there.
Oh, okay. Yep.
The big pinion on the back.
So when you cast that bucket before, I felt the side sort of go up a wee bit.
Yeah, Yeah,
and that's nothing. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
You'll feel them lift up, but it's only lifting the frame in the tracks. They don't actually lift the tracks off the ground.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's only the movement and the rollers in the frame.
Yeah. Hi everyone. My new book, Talking Trucks, is now available. I'll just read you what Alex McClellan of McClellan Freight in Balclutha had to say in the foreword. This book is the result of many miles travelled, many people met, and many vehicles and machines documented. As people pass on, their stories go with them. So it was great that Bill and Linda could document their stories, not only for their historic value to New Zealand, but also to the families of the people who took the time to pass it on through Bill's shows. I think this book goes some way to honouring that responsibility. Thank you, Alex. I also spoke to Gavin Abbott, and Gavin, as you know, is an author himself, written something like 6 or 7 or 8 trucking books, and he said, well, Bill, as you know, I've read a few trucking books in my time, but I have to tell you that this book is up there with the best of them. So there you go. If you'd like to get your copy, the easiest way is to go to our webpage at www.lowgear.co.nz or flick me an email, billhoheper@extra.co.nz, or perhaps even just give me a call, 027 277 0717, and we can sort out the details. So there you go, Talking Trucks, now available, and maybe you get your copy for a gift for Father's Day. So this is a 5-cistern Ruston Bucyrus, and it's done great service. And Syd said it's just the perfect engine for what this machine does. So we've got brakes, we've got the lever for lifting it, we've got the lever for dropping it. This slews the machine around so I load the truck, and so these are the two. So I've got hand on 2 levers and feet on both brakes, controlling the clutches, which are right next door, which in turn control the winches, and the front winch is the one that pulls it in. So this job pulls it in, and this job lifts it. So I'm not brave enough to have a go at sort of doing something with that bucket out there, but it's just interesting to be sitting here, and you'd sit in here for maybe 4 hours and then have a break, and then another 4 hours just slewing backwards and forwards and cleaning the canal. So Syd, you're amazing. But the thing about looking out at that bucket out there, when he flicks the bucket, it drops straight down to the bottom. And if I had a digger, it would go out as far as it can, but then when it starts to come back in again, it has to do that. So it's not picking up the material right by the bank. It probably doesn't get to the bottom of it till about halfway across, and then it digs in. So this is the perfect machine to cast the bucket out and bring the silt in right from that side to this side, and then get rid of it. Just looking up, you can see the controls all the way up to the boom. You can see what this lifting rope's doing. And yeah, it's just, everything about this is just right. Although, well, if I look out to the left-hand side, I've got a window here, but I am a bit blind to what's going on that side. Perfect this side, not so good off to the left.
All these young fellas, they stick in these 600 horsepower trucks and they drive them like cars, roll them over and that. We learnt on old D-series, J-series Bedfords, Tibbs traders, and very little brakes, and use the gearbox.
Yeah, that's all right.